I want to say something to you tonight that most people won't say out loud. Not because it isn't true, but because nobody wants to be the one to say it. Here it is. Most of us are about to enter the most powerful 10 nights of the entire year, and we are going to sleep through them again. Not because we are bad people, not because we don't care, but because we have been conditioned year after year to pour everything we have into the first night of Ramadan. The first Taraweeh, the first long suhoor dua, the first emotional moment, and then slowly, quietly, without even announcing it, we start coasting. We stop sprinting. We start surviving. And by the time the last 10 nights arrive, the nights that Allah Himself honored above all others, the nights that the Prophet Nakur would abandon sleep and wake his entire family, for we are lying in bed scrolling our phones, telling ourselves we'll make up for it on night 27. Here is the honest question I want you to sit with from the very beginning of this talk. If you wouldn't skip the last round of a boxing match, if you wouldn't leave a football game before the final whistle, if you wouldn't put down a book right before the last chapter, why are you treating the last 10 nights of Ramadan like they're the cool down lap? Here is the myth we need to destroy right now. Many of us have been treating all 30 nights of Ramadan as though they carry equal weight. Night 4 and night 24, night 9 and night 29. Same effort, same energy, same commitment. But that is not how Allah designed this month. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His infinite wisdom, did not scatter the rewards evenly across Ramadan. He stacked them. He compressed them. He placed the most extraordinary spiritual prize of the entire Islamic calendar. Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. Not at the beginning when your excitement is fresh, not in the middle when your rhythm is set, but at the end, at the finish line. And that is not an accident. That is a design. That is a divine test, not of your enthusiasm, but of your enthusiasm, but of your sincerity. Let me say that again, because I need you to feel the weight of it. Allah didn't place Laylatul Qadr at the beginning of Ramadan to test your excitement. Anyone can be excited at the beginning. The new month smell is still fresh. The dates are sweet. Your intentions are clean. He placed it at the end to test whether your love for Him is real when it costs you something. Think about this for a moment. Think about how differently we behave when a deadline is approaching. You have a job interview, an important one. Maybe the most important one of your career. You have been preparing for weeks, studying the company, rehearsing your answers, planning your outfit. But the night before, you don't sleep properly. You are up until 2 a.m. reviewing. You iron your clothes. Then you iron them again. Why? Because the moment of decision is near. And the nearness of it changes everything about how you show up. Or think about the student. Any student in this room will tell you the entire semester they are relatively relaxed. Some reading here, a few notes there. But in the final 3 days before the exam, something completely transforms. The casual becomes intense. The optional becomes mandatory. The nap becomes an all-nighter. Why? Because the deadline changed the stakes. Now here is my question. And I want you to answer it honestly in your heart. If we do this for a job interview, if we do this for a university exam, why is it that when the most important spiritual deadline of our entire year arrives, so many of us slow down instead of speed up? Is it possible, is it genuinely possible that we don't truly deeply believe what we say we believe about Laylatul Qadr? Because if we believed, truly believed, that there is a single night in the next 10 where one act of sincere worship equals 83 years of good deeds, we would not need an alarm clock. We would not need a reminder on our phones. We will be camped at the door of the masjid. So let me explain clearly and practically what makes the last 10 nights structurally different from the rest of Ramadan. This is not a matter of some nights being slightly more rewarding. This is a matter of different categories entirely. Think of Ramadan like a championship match, not a sprint, but a structured competition with rounds. The first 10 nights, they are the opening rounds. You're finding your rhythm, building your stamina, getting into the groove of fasting and prayer. Allah is generous in these nights. Every good deed is multiplied. Every tarawih counts. The second 10 nights, this is the middle game. The Prophet Menk described these as the nights of forgiveness. Rahmah gives way to maghfirah. If you showed up with sincerity in the first 10, these nights begin to soften your heart. They begin to peel back the layers. But the last 10 nights? The last 10 nights are the arena. This is where the real competition begins. This is where the prizes are handed out. This is where Allah's mercy descends in waves that we, with our limited minds, cannot even comprehend. The Prophet Kabul, and I need you to picture this, the most beloved human being to have ever walked this earth. The one who had already been guaranteed Jannah. The one whose every sin had been forgiven. He would enter the last 10 nights and tighten his belt. He would pull away from even the halal. He would wake Aisha. He would wake his family. He would spend the nights in qiyam and the days in devotion. Not because he needed it for himself, but because he understood what these nights were worth. Do we? Let me tell you about a woman. And as I tell you this, I want you to understand this woman is not a stranger. This woman could be your sister, your wife, your mother. This woman is any one of us. Her name is Fatima. She's in her late 20s. She works, she manages a household. And this Ramadan, she told herself, this Ramadan is going to be different. She downloaded a Quran app. She made a schedule. She wrote her du'as in a notebook. Night 1, she is electric. She prays tarawih standing so long her feet hurt, and she doesn't care. Night 3, she reads 5 pages of Quran after Fajr, something she hasn't done in years. Night 6, she cries in sujood for the first time in she doesn't know how long. But then night 12 arrives. And then night 15. And the rhythm that felt so natural in the first week starts to feel heavy. The job doesn't pause for Ramadan. The inbox doesn't empty itself. The house doesn't clean itself. And slowly, not dramatically, not with a single breaking point, but slowly, quietly, the extra dhikr gets shorter. The qiyam gets lighter. The notebook of dua sits on the nightstand unopened. She still fasts. She still prays her 5. She's not doing anything wrong. She's just coasting. Night 21 arrives. The last 10 have begun. Her phone buzzes. A voice message from her mother. Just a simple reminder. Betty, the big nights are here now. Don't let them pass. Fatima puts the phone down on her bed. The house is quiet. Her husband is asleep. And for a long moment she just sits there. Tired. Honest. A little ashamed. And then, no grand plan, no memorized formula. She just rolls out her prayer mat. She stands. She makes 2 rakat. And in the last sajjah, she whispers something so simple, so raw, that it barely even sounds like a dua. Ya Allah. I got distracted. But I'm here. Please don't turn me away. Brothers and sisters, that sajjah, that one honest, exhausted, unpolished sajda on night 21, it may have carried more weight before Allah than every beautifully structured dua of night 3. Because Allah does not evaluate our presentation. He looks at our hearts, and a heart that comes back, even imperfectly, even late, even tired, is a heart that Allah responds to. I want you to try something with me right now. Just for a moment. Imagine you were told, tonight, that in 10 days you are going to stand before Allah. Not as a threat, not as punishment, just as a calm absolute fact. In 10 days your book of deeds opens. In 10 days you will see everything. Would you sleep tonight the same way you planned to? Would you speak to your spouse tomorrow morning the same way you did this morning? Would you spend 45 minutes on your phone on night 23 the same way you did last year? Now hold that feeling, hold the sharpness of it, and hear this. During the last nights of Ramadan, there is one night hidden among the odd nights where a single, sincere act of worship, your salah, your dua, your silent tears on the prayer mat, is counted by Allah as 83 years of continuous worship. 83 years, my brothers and sisters. Most of us haven't even lived 83 years. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His generosity, in His mercy, in His love for His servants, is offering this to us freely. Every single Ramadan, as long as we are awake to receive it. The question, the only question, is whether we would be awake. So here's what I want to give you now. Not theory, a practical step-by-step framework based on the sunnah of the Prophet. A clear pattern that anyone can follow regardless of schedule, energy level, or circumstance. Stage 1. The intention reset. Before night 21 begins, before the last 10 officially start, sit alone for 5 minutes. No phone, no distraction, just you and your intention. And say it out loud, even if it is just a whisper. Ya Allah, I am entering the last 10 nights of Ramadan. I am here. Fully. Whatever I have left, it belongs to you. This is not ritual for its own sake. This is a declaration that resets your mindset. You are no longer in maintenance mode. You have entered a different gear entirely. Stage 2, the i'tikaf of the heart. Not everyone can do full physical i'tikaf in the masjid. Life has responsibilities that do not pause for Ramadan. But every single one of us can practice what I call the i'tikaf of the heart. The intentional withdrawal from what is pulling you away from Allah. Reduce the entertainment. Reduce the long phone calls that go nowhere. Reduce the noise. Reduce the social media. If you cannot physically retreat to the house of Allah in these nights, then at the very minimum, retreat from what is keeping you away from Him. Stage 3, odd night priority. Nights 21, 23, 25, 27, and 29, treat every single one as though it is the night, not just night 27. Scholars of Islam tell us that Laylatul Qadr moves. It is not fixed to one date. It breathes and shifts across the odd nights. It breathes and shifts across the odd nights. The person who gambles everything on night 27 and coasts to the rest is like a student who skips the entire exam period hoping to pass on one miraculous answer. The prize doesn't come to those who guess. It comes to those who show up. Stage 4, quality over quantity. 2 rak'ah prayed with a genuinely present heart. With your mind actually there, with your soul actually engaged, with your eyes soft and your chest open. That is worth more before Allah than 20 rak'ah performed while your mind is planning tomorrow's iftar menu. The currency of these nights is not volume, it is presence, it is khushu, it is the quality of your attention directed entirely toward the one you are standing before. Stage 5, the dua of Laylatul Qadr. The mother of the believers, Aisha radiyallahu anha, asked the Prophet directly, if I know it is Laylatul Qadr, what should I say? And he taught her the most beautiful, the most simple, the most complete supplication. Allahumma inaka afuunai pura wuntubu afuafuanai. O Allah, you are the pardoner. You love to pardon. You love to pardon. You love to pardon. Teach this to your children tonight. Say it yourself tonight. This is not a complicated formula. This is not a performance. This is a child calling out to its parent in the dark with nothing in its hands except the knowledge of who its parent is. And that is exactly what it needs to be. Now I know what some of you are sitting with right now. I can almost hear the thoughts. Some of you are thinking, I have wasted so many Ramadans already. I made these same promises last year and the year before. Is it even worth trying at this point? Let me speak directly to that doubt. The fact that you are asking that question, the fact that there is something inside your chest that feels the weight of what you've missed, that is not a sign that you are too far. That is a sign that your heart is still alive. A dead heart does not feel regret. Only a living heart feels the distance between where it is and where it wants to be. Your regret is not your defeat. Your regret is your starting point. Some of you are saying, but I have work in the morning, I have small children, I have a body that needs sleep, I cannot stay up every odd night until Fajr. Nobody is asking you to be superhuman. Allah knows your schedule better than your calendar does. He created your tiredness. He understands your responsibilities. But here is what I would say. Even 20 sincere minutes of Qiyam after Isha, before you sleep, that counts. That registers. You do not need to give what you do not have. You only need to give what is genuinely yours. And Allah, in His mercy, does something extraordinary with genuine gifts, no matter their size. And for those of you saying, I don't feel anything anymore, my heart is hard, I read Quran and I feel nothing, I pray and it feels mechanical. I want to tell you something important about how softness returns to a hard heart. It does not come before the action. It comes through the action. You don't wait until you feel like praying to pray. You don't wait until you feel soft to show up. You show up first. And somewhere inside the worship, somewhere in the middle of the sajjah, you almost didn't make it. The feeling arrives. Like rain after a long drought. It comes. Let me tell you about a man I want you to picture clearly. There was nothing exceptional about him. No special title, no great reputation, just an ordinary man carrying an extraordinary burden. He was in his 50s. His son, his only son, was ill. The kind of illness that doctors speak about in careful, quiet sentences. And this man had been asking Allah for healing every Ramadan for 3 years. 3-4 Ramadans of dua after dua, of tajajjud after tajajjud, of Quran after Quran. And the answer had not come the way he expected. Night 25 of that third Ramadan, 2 a.m. His son is asleep in the next room. The man is sitting on his prayer mat and he has nothing left. No words, no tears. He has cried so many times that the well is dry. He just sits there, hands raised in the silence. And he says nothing. He just holds his hands up. And in the silence, his heart speaks what his tongue cannot. You know, you see, I have nothing left to say. I just trust you. That silence, that trusting, surrendered, empty-handed silence, that is not weakness. That is the highest form of tawakkul. That is a man who has moved past asking and arrived at believing. And the deepest truth about the last 10 nights, the truth that most lectures will not tell you, is this: Laylatul Qadr is not just about what you do on that night. It is about who you become by choosing to show up even when you have nothing to bring. The last 10 nights do not reward the most productive Muslim. They do not reward the most eloquent, the most knowledgeable, the one with the best memorization of dua books. They reward the most present one. The one who was there. Honestly. Humbly. Completely. Let me leave you with something you can actually do. Starting from tonight. Concrete, simple, actionable. 1. Write down one dua. Just one. One genuine, specific, desperate thing you are asking Allah for in this season of your life. And make that your anchor, dua, for every odd night. Not a list. One thing. Because focused desperation is more powerful than scattered wishfulness. do. From Isha to Far during these nights, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Guard your attention the same way you guard your fast, because your attention is your worship. Where your attention goes, your heart follows. And these nights deserve your full heart. 3. Prepare your body for these nights the way you would prepare for the most important appointment of your year. Sleep earlier in the day if you can. Eat lighter at iftar. Protect your energy, because your body is not your enemy in these nights. It is your vehicle. Treat it accordingly. 4. With every odd night, make 2 rak'ah with one single intention in your heart. Ya Allah, if this is Laylatul Qadr, accept it from me. You don't need to know which night it is, you just need to show up as though it could be. Because it could be. 5. End every night with istighfar, not because you did everything perfectly, but because humility itself is a form of worship. The person who ends the night saying, Ya Allah, I fell short, forgive me, is already in a better position than the one who counts their rak'ah and considers their account settled. 6. And this one matters more than people realize. Tell someone you love, your husband, your wife, your child, your closest friend. Just say it, simply, directly. Let's not waste the last 10. Because the sunnah of reminding one another is not just a good habit, it is an act of worship. And accountability given in love is one of the greatest gifts we can offer each other in this life. I want to leave you with one final thought, just one. And I want you to hold it carefully. Every single person hearing these words tonight, every one of us will one day have a last Ramadan. We don't know which one it will be. We don't get a calendar notification. We don't get a warning message. We don't get a final goodbye. One year a Ramadan will come, and we will not be here to see it end. What if this is that year? What if these last 10 nights, these specific nights, this specific Ramadan, are the last 10 nights Allah ever gives you the chance to seek Laylatul Qadr? Will you look back at them from the other side and say, I was tired, so I slept? Or will you say, I was tired, but I showed up anyway. With whatever I had, I showed up. The first 20 nights of Ramadan build the boat. They build the discipline, the patience, the hunger, literally and spiritually. They build everything you need. The last 10 nights are the ocean. Don't spend an entire month building the most beautiful boat of your life and then refuse to sail. These nights are your ocean. The mercy of Allah is your wind, and Laylatul Qadr is the horizon that changes everything. Sail. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant every one of us Laylatul Qadr. May He accept our fasts, our prayers, our tears, and our silences. May He write our names in these blessed nights among the forgiven, among the freed, among those who showed up when it was hard. Ameen.